Socks up, I'd have names.
He is now.
Running for there.
Oh. She didn't have any furniture.
Jesus.
That's hilarious. Getting one.
Oh my God, Ed. Look at you.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I'm wearing it. I'm putting it on.
Come here, Fisher.
We have something for you. It'll bring a smile to your
Here, Don.
Hey, Don. We're handing out souvenirs, everybody. These are.
It's over 40
When I
years
ran
ago.
for the city council.
What's that? How you been?
God, I was good looking.
It's over 40 years ago.
What a head of hair you had.
Hey, you don't want, you're giving them back to me? You're supposed to keep, gee.
Keep in mind, that was an extra.
I got my own thing.
That was taken over 40 years ago from a picture that he ran
That
40
was in
years
the
ago.
1960s, I
That was
think.
60 what? Do you remember?
You weren't even around, Mike.
Late 60s I
Tell
was.
Ed I'm going to wear it, and somebody said, "You Ed Hennessy?" I'm saying, "Yeah, he changed."
Do you have these printed up?
Huh?
You find these.
I like
I
this.
took it from Joe Shatina, a big poster that Joe still had, and then we made them into buttons.
Good job.
Joe's got it right over his urinal in his bathroom.
See what I mean? I can't do that stuff.
It's funny, it's still coming through.
I couldn't do that. Oh, wow. I'm not that fast.
What's going on, Jimmy?
Not much. Is that a magnet or a pen?
It's a pen.
One of them was a magnet. He must have got it.
My son Brian.
Put it up when I get home.
Brian is really quick like that too. My son Brian.
Oh, yeah.
He brought his shotgun.
Well, if you're active in the gay society, you've got to be quick.
Well, I brought his shotgun over to him, and he says, Melissa doesn't know I got the shotgun back. And I said, good, you better hide it. He signed it. I'll put it right by the back.
Good thinking.
Something at South Point.
All set, Mike? Okay, will the meeting please come to order? This is a duly advertised meeting of the Joliet Zoning Board of Appeals. In our capacity, we hear petitions or relief from the strict provisions of the city ordinance. In matters of that type, the decision of this board is final in respect that it does not go to the mayor or the city council for any further action. If you disagree with our decision, you have recourse in a court of record. We also hear petitions for variations of land use. In matters of this type, we act as an advisory committee to the mayor and city council, making a recommendation either for or against it. The final decision on land use is made by the mayor and the city council. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Ms. Darling?
Here.
Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Graham?
Here.
Ms. Powers?
Here.
Mr. Riggs?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Hennessy?
Here. We sticking to the agenda?
Yes, we are, Mr. Chair.
Okay, petition 2017-35. Mr. Bakal.
This is zoning board case number 2017-35, Surjit Bakal, who is also the owner of the property. This is located at 3345 South Hutchison Avenue. It's a request for a front yard reduction of the minimum required front yard setback for an R2 single-family residential zoning district from 30 feet to 24 feet in order to construct a covered porch. The lot is 65 feet by 120 feet and contains a single-family home built in 1979. The surrounding zoning, land use, and character are R4 to the north, multifamily residential, and to the east, south, and west, all single-family residential zoned R-2. Applicable regulations include 47-6.4 yard and lot requirements, as well as the standards for findings of fact supporting a variation. There was a community design review board meeting on July 6, 2017. There were no comments made concerning this request. And the requested variation will allow the petitioner to construct a 17 feet 8 inch by 6 foot covered front porch. The porch will have a wood deck and a shingled gable roof supported by wood posts. Construction of the porch will reduce the front yard setback from 30 feet to 24 feet. A plat of survey and elevation drawings are attached. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Are the screens down or not working, or what's the deal there? Okay. I must swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law? Your names and addresses.
My name name, Surjit Bashal.
Speak into the microphone, please.
Surjit Bashal at 3345D Hutchison, Joliet, Illinois.
Thank you.
Jose Alvarado, United Architects, 1002 Plainfield Road.
Okay, any comments you'd like to make, gentlemen?
No, again, this is just a little front porch addition to cover up the entrance once it's raining or whatever, but it's not a complete structure all the way around. So in other words, it's just a couple posts and a roof over it. So it's really open on 3 other sides.
Any comments by the board?
How does this compare with some of the other setbacks in the neighborhood?
The owner here took the liberty of taking some pictures and going out and actually measuring some of the other properties on here, and we have 3 photos of several other properties. This one, it says on here 22 feet 4 inches from the sidewalk. So again, and this one's 21.
From the front sidewalk, are you saying?
Yeah, from the front sidewalk. This one's 2110, and I'll gladly hand these over to you in a minute here. 2110 from the sidewalk, and this other one's 19 feet from the sidewalk. And that's, none of these, you know, as to the actual house structure itself, there's no front porch, but they're all way within the 30-foot.
That's a living area.
Yeah.
Staff would like to just clarify, based on the report, that there are all the other houses on this particular block do comply or meet the 30-foot front yard
Okay,
setback.
that's what I thought. All right, thank you.
Any other comments, questions by the board? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Is there anyone opposed? Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion second to approve the petition. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ferguson.
Aye.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Ms. Darley.
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy.
Aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Thanen Duba, petition 2017-37,
36.
property on Enterprise Drive.
There's another one, Ed. 36, it's a single,
Got what, 36?
yeah.
Ah, okay. We called you out of order, sir. Have a seat, we'll be right with you. 2017-36, Adams.
And I actually would point out that this is a request for tabling. This is, Planning Division is recommending that the petition for special use permit for Dr. Deneen Adams, 14 Fairlane Drive, special use permit for a daycare center, be tabled to the August 17, 2017 Zoning Board meeting in order to re-advertise this petition for additionally requesting a variation from the city's residential lot setback requirement for a daycare center.
Okay, motion be in order to table.
Move.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Mrs. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Ms. Darley.
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson.
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy.
Aye. Okay, back to 2017-37.
This is petition 2017-37 Noman Thana Duboth. This is, owner is Joseph Eves. Location is 4300 Enterprise Drive. And the request is a special use permit in order to allow a chiropractor business, which is an R-B restricted business use within an I-1 light industrial zoning district. The property was annexed in Zone B3 in 1972. The property was reclassified to I-1 in 1990. The lot was created as part of the Timber Ridge subdivision, Unit 3A, in March 2001. A special use permit was approved to allow a dance studio within the 2,500 square foot Unit 1 of that proposed building in May of 2005 by the zoning board. A 4,200 square foot multi-tenant building was constructed in September 2005. This case was filed June 9, 2017. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character is as follows. To the north is a hotel zoned I-1. To the south is an industrial area zoned I-1. To the east and to the west are commercial. To the east is B3 and to the west is I-1 light industrial. Applicable regulations include 47-14.3C, prohibited uses, and 47-5.2C, criteria for issuance of a special use permit. The petitioner is requesting approval of the special use to allow the chiropractor business within existing office space of an existing building zoned I-1 light industrial. The petitioner runs an established chiropractic business that is currently located in Shorewood. He has a need for additional space and feels that the subject site fits his office and parking needs and is centrally located for his client base, which is Joliet, Shorewood, Channahon, and Manuka. The operation currently utilizes 3 employees, which includes 1 chiropractor and 2 massage therapists. In addition to these employees, a receptionist may be added sometime in the near future. Office hours would be Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., Fridays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and Saturday by appointment only. The petitioner has stated that most of the clients are by referrals, but being near the hotels in the area may allow for more walk-ins. The proposal is to locate within 2 of the 4 tenant spaces, units C and D, which amounts to about 1,737 square feet. There could be as many as 7 therapist rooms, 2 bathrooms, a reception station, and an employee break room. The existing parking lot, which accommodates approximately 40 cars, should be adequate for the proposed office uses. And if this is, the zoning board is so inclined, staff suggests the following conditions. 1, that the special use be granted shall herein terminate and lapse unless a building permit or C of O is obtained not later than 180 days. And the rest of the language is pretty standard for that condition. 2, that should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. And that concludes staff's report.
Okay. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Your name and address, please.
My personal address?
Pardon me?
Noma Tanana Booth, 616 Ida Street.
Yeah, speak into the mic, please.
Noma Tanana Booth, 616 Ida Street, Joliet, 60436.
Okay, any comments you'd like to make, sir?
No comments.
Any questions by the board?
Are there other tenants in this building?
On the other side, I'm not sure who they are.
How old is the building?
I don't know.
The building was constructed in September 2005.
Okay, so it's,
What's in the space now that you're planning? Has it ever been rented? What's been there?
I don't know. I think they were doing interviews for like a hotel or something like that.
yeah, I have to swear you in, sir. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
And name and address.
My name is Roger Blomgren, 2055 Bernadette Lane, Yorkville, Illinois, 60560. I'm a broker with Inland Real Estate Brokerage out of Yorkville and represent the owner, Joseph Eves of Kankakee, and this property. The property presently has a tenant in A and B, and they've been there for actually only several weeks now. We have had some difficulty because of the recession and so forth of getting qualified tenants into the building, and certainly this type of a use would be very, very practical for this type of a building. It was originally designed for an architectural firm who had units A and B, and they had traditionally leased it out to others, and then when Mr. Eves bought it, we've been leasing it primarily for office. And it's rather unusual to have a building such as this, which has mainly office use, to be zoned in industrial. So certainly the petition that the chiropractor has is a good use for this type of a property. Are there any questions?
I'm not,
further questions?
yeah, I do, wait, how many patients would you say you're going to see a day, or that your staff will see each day? Do you have an estimate?
15, 20,
Do you think you'll be requiring any signage in the future?
possibly, yeah.
Any other comments? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Chair closes the petition, asks the board for discussion and a motion.
I'll move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Thank you.
And that motion does include the two, that includes the 2
And
conditions.
that'll go to the city council, right, for further action?
This one doesn't go to council.
That for
Special
a
use
variation?
It's a special use permit.
Special use permit?
RB office uses in industrial don't go to city council. Not in the RB in the industrial does not go to city council.
Oh, really? If it's because of the industrial? Learned something. After 40 years, I've learned something. Okay. Petition 2017-38. Stacy Martin.
This is petition 2017-38, which is an amendment to ordinance number 2009-58 and 2012-30. Or I'm sorry, to cases 2009-58 and 2012-30. Petitioner is Stacy, and also the owner is Stacy Martin. Location is 915 West Jefferson Street. This is a request for an amendment to a special use permit to allow the expansion of an existing daycare from 61 children to 111 children. The 17,920 square foot site includes a 3,000 square foot two-story framed building with vinyl siding. There is an existing playground area to the east of the building, existing parking for approximately 10 cars along Williams Street, and an off-street parking area for 9 additional cars off of Jefferson Street. The property is zoned B1 Neighborhood Business. Case was filed June 12, 2017. A special use permit to allow a daycare facility for 30 children was granted by the Zoning Board of Appeals at their meeting in October 2009. Variations to allow a 1,450 square foot two-story addition and amendments to the special use permit to allow 61 children and an expanded closing time to midnight were all approved by the Zoning Board in July of 2012. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character, the properties directly to the north are zoned R-2 single-family residential, and also include a single-family home and a 6-unit building. The 6-unit building received a variation of use from the mayor and city council in 1999 in order to allow its continuation within the R-2 zoning district. There are also some accessory structures in this area, such as sheds and parking lots. The properties to the south, east, and west are zoned B1 Neighborhood Business and include a commercial strip center, an auto repair facility, a restaurant, and a cell phone store. Applicable regulations include 47-11.2A, subparagraph B, special uses, and 47-5.2C, criteria for issuance of a special use permit. There were no comments from the Community Design Review Board meeting on July 6, 2017. This is Stacy Joe's Daycare. It's a business which has been very successful since its opening in 2010, and there is currently a waiting list for patients wanting to enroll their children. Due to the high demand, the petitioner is planning once again to expand with a 1,300 square foot two-story addition, and the plans are in your packet. A classroom, 2 bathrooms, and an office area are proposed on the first floor, and a classroom and 2 bathrooms are proposed on the second floor. The addition will meet the minimum rear yard building setback, which is 25 feet. Vinyl siding is proposed for the exterior material in order to match the existing siding. The outdoor play area will be reconfigured but will remain intact. The petitioner has stated that there is adequate play area available for the increased enrollment to meet the DCFS standards. There have not been any parking or circulation problems at the facility made known to staff. Hours of operation will remain from 7 a.m. till 12 midnight. If approved, the expansion will allow the petitioner to hire 3 additional full-time employees. If the zoning board is desiring to approve this amendment to a special use permit, the following conditions would be included. 1, that the hours of operation for the proposed business not be expanded from 7 a.m. to 12 a.m. And should the property be declared a public nuisance, it shall be subject to a rehearing and possible revocation of the special use permit. That concludes staff's report.
Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law? Name and address, please.
Stacy Martin, 21043 Tallgrass Drive, Mokina, Illinois, 60448.
Comments you'd like to make?
I don't think so.
How many employees do you have now?
15.
15? And you're almost doubling this, and you're only adding, what, 3 more employees?
Yes.
Is that adequate?
Yes. The reason for it is my license just changed through DCFS. I didn't take children 7 through 12 years old prior to my new license in March of this year, and now I am allowed to. So the teacher to children ratio has changed if I do those new classrooms as the 6 through 12-year-olds. For 5-year-olds, I can have 20 in one class per one teacher, And kindergartners, I can have 2 teachers with 30 children.
That's all regulated by what, state statute?
Yes, DCFS.
How long do these children usually stay there? I mean, it's almost like shift work or something, or? I mean, what's the most you would ever have there at any one time?
Children?
Yeah.
Right now, 61 at one given time.
I mean, even with the expansion, how many would you have?
Expansion, 111.
They'd all be there at one time?
Yes.
From 7 till midnight?
No.
Well, that's my question. Some of them must leave during the daytime.
Yes, they do.
Well,
I
then
mean, it
they
could be
wouldn't all
from,
there at
we
one
open
time.
at 7 and we close at midnight. We do not take anything over 12 hours for a child. So like if they come at 7, they would have to be gone by 6:30.
Okay, is that again a state law? How long a child can be there?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments?
Do you, we see a copy of your license that expired, well, that's for 61. Do you have a license for 111? I mean, are you allowed to do that?
I am allowed to do that. I do not have that license yet. I have to do the expansion first, and then the state fire marshal has to come out, DCFS has to come out. But I have been in contact with both of them.
So the only children then you'll be taking now are the older ones?
I'll still be taking 15 months up to 12 years old. But my previous license did not allow me to take the 6 to 12-year-olds.
Right.
And now I can. So the expansion is for the older children, but I would still continue to take the younger children on the
Right,
in
but
the old part of the building.
But these extra 50 children, you're expecting them to be the older
Yes.
children?
Yes.
When you expand like this, at what point in time, I mean, in your application, you had to apply to the state. Do they come and inspect once, and how often do they inspect on something like
The
this?
state comes at least once a year, unless called for whatever reason to come to check at a different
The
time.
staff is secure in the fact that all requirements have been made, city and state?
Our requirements will have been met. We mirror the outdoor play area spacing requirement per student that the state requires. So obviously, it's a dual process here. Your approval, she would have to get DCFS
Has to go back to
approval
the state,
as
right?
well.
Yes.
And that outdoor play space is adequate, what she's got for 111 kids?
The requirement is 75 square
Square
feet
foot per each child.
per
I would
child.
only have no more than 30 children out at one playground at a time. I have 2 playgrounds. So that would allow me 60 children to play at one time, which is half the building.
Half the building now, but not half the building if you
It would
get
be
your-
half the building at 111. I can
30?
have 60 outside.
Oh, 60 you said, I'm
Yes.
sorry, I thought you said 30.
No, I'm sorry,
I
60 at
misunderstood.
one time.
Thank you.
Anything else by the board?
You know, I have a question. We don't have a copy of the minutes from the last time that this was heard. I'd kind of like to know what conditions we put on last time that it was heard, when it was expanded the last time. I don't see any minutes from that. I'm curious about that.
No, the minutes from
Oh, it was like a
this.
long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, we don't have that
No,
available
the-
to us
the
right now.
prior minutes from the,
Right.
I mean, we certainly could provide those, but, you know, for the
I
packet,
apologize. I
it's
should have
been.
called for those earlier.
Yeah.
I'm curious about that.
Any other comments by the board? Anybody in the audience wish to speak in favor? Is anyone opposed? No one from the neighborhood. Well, that's good. Chair closes petition. Asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darley?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye, thank you.
And just to clarify, this is also a type of case that does not go to the city council. This would be, your decision would be final.
What would be the exception in this case?
That's how the zoning ordinance is written for this type of special use permit.
I wonder if you could supply the board with a list of the exemptions, because a lot of us are under the impression that any variation for a special use or anything goes to the council.
There are several different types of special use permits that do stop.
Yeah, give us a list of
at
the
you,
exceptions.
with you. We can do that.
Thank you.
I thank you.
Okay, petition 2017-39, Leonard McHenry.
This is petition.
Get that name right?
This is petition 2017-39. The applicant is Leonard McHenry. Owner is Centerpoint Joliet Terminal Railroad Company, LLC. Location is 2951 Centerpoint Way, which is at the northeast Centerpoint Way and Vetter Road, northeast corner. This is a special use permit request in order to allow a gasoline fueling station that includes restaurants, convenience store, and possibly gaming machines. In July of 2008, the mayor and city council approved the annexation, classification, and reclassification, annexation agreement, and concept plan for the approximate 3,300-acre development, which includes approximately 14 to 18 million square feet of distribution center space and railroad terminal. In December 2008, the mayor and city council approved the preliminary, final, and recording plat of Centerpoint Intermodal Center at Joliet Phase 1, which included one lot on 253 acres. And then since that time, phases 2 through 17 have been approved and recorded. A variation of use was approved by the City Council in October 2013 at the recommendation of the ZBA in order to allow a liquid LNG or liquid nitrogen gas fueling station for fleet trucks and a variation to allow above-ground fueling tanks. The fueling station was never approved. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character in 3 directions, north, east, and south are all or I should say, to the north is industrial I-T, to the south is industrial I-T, to the east is undeveloped and also zoned I-T, to the west is agricultural land zoned A-1, and also unincorporated Will County. Applicable regulations, section 47-14A, Intermodal Terminal District, part 4.3.5, category C, Industrial Park. There was a Community Design Review Board meeting July 7th, 2017. There were no comments made concerning this petition. Again, the petitioner is requesting this special use permit in order to allow a gasoline fueling station for including restaurants, convenience store, and possibly gaming machines. Plans are included in your packet. The petitioner currently owns and operates Lenny's Route 66 fuel stop at the southwest corner of Chicago Street and Laraway Road. The new proposal would be his second fueling station in Joliet and 6th total. The proposal includes 2 curb cuts on Centerpoint Way and 1 curb cut on Vetter Road. Approximately 42 truck parking spaces and 36 automobile spaces are proposed on site. 4 automobile gas pumps and 10 truck pumps are being proposed. A future drive-through is being proposed for an unidentified fast food provider. Any future gaming proposal would need additional approval and licensing, and specifically a liquor license would be required. Landscaping, paving, and architectural design standards will be in compliance with the I-T ordinance. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. I swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law.
Yes, I do.
Names and addresses, please.
Yes, my name is Lyman Team, and I'm the attorney for Len McHenry. My office is at 12417 Tahoe Lane in Mokina, Illinois. And then this is Len McHenry.
Hi, Len McHenry, 171 12 Point Drive in Orland Park.
Okay, gentlemen, any comments?
No further comments. Staff report, I think, was very inclusive. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to address your questions.
Yeah, did you own the property back in 2013?
Pardon me?
The same owner in 2013 when the fueling station was never constructed?
Well, the property is owned by Centerpoint.
Yeah.
We're entering into a long-term lease with Centerpoint.
Were you involved?
We were not involved with
though?
the 2013 petition for the fueling station back in 2013.
I was just curious as to why that was never completed.
We have no idea. We
You
were
weren't
not part and
involved in
parcel of
okay.
that.
That's what I want to know. And what about, foresee any problems with traffic down there? I mean, the infrastructure, is that up to standard, do you think?
I think the infrastructure is all in. It's, if you look at the sketch of the proposed site plan that we have adequate entrance and exit off of Centerpoint Way, which is a privately owned road, for trucks on the east portion of the property. And then we have adequate access, ingress and egress for autos, basically on the western portion of the property onto Centerpoint Way. And then we have access for trucks and autos in and out on Vetter Road on the north end of the property. We're not obviously contributing to the traffic situation along Centerpoint Way or Vetter Road, but we're hoping to be able to service the existing truck traffic and automobile traffic that currently exists out there.
Okay, thank you.
Do
Any
you think-
comments
yeah.
by the board?
You think you'll ever want to put in the LNG fuel in the future?
That's something that's always open, but right now, no.
Anyone else? Anyone in the audience wish to speak in favor? Anyone opposed? Well, we got a docile crowd today.
Don's out there.
Okay, the chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Poll the board.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Ms. Darley?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
Aye. Good luck, gentlemen.
And this one goes to the city council?
I was just going to clarify, Lyman, or Mr. Teeman, that with this is one of the types of special uses that will go to the council.
And what is the date for that?
The pre-council, it would be discussed at pre-council on the last Monday in July, and then the first Tuesday in August, which is August 1st.
Okay, very good.
August 1st.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lyman. Okay. Petition 2017-40.
Mr. Chair and members of the
Daniel
board.
Shafran.
Petition 2017-40, Daniel Shafran is the applicant. The owner of the property is the city of Joliet. Location is 141 East Jefferson Street. The request is a special use permit to allow an 11-unit apartment renovation within an existing vacant building located in the B3 Central Business Zoning District, and variances on lot area per family from 2,500 square feet to 500 square feet, and on-street parking reduction from 16.5 spaces to 14 spaces, and on a waiver of the planned unit development requirement. You may be familiar with this. This is what we know as the right field building. It's part of the Slammer Stadium complex. The three-story brick building called the Stadium Club is on a 44-foot by 125.04 foot or 5,500 square foot site and contains a multi-tenant space that is currently vacant. 14 off-street parking spaces will be dedicated for the apartments that are located in the private parking lot off of Power Alley Drive. Parking for the retail uses will be allowed in the angled parking located along Power Alley Drive. The petitioner is currently in negotiations with the city on a redevelopment agreement for the building and the accessory parking. The property is Zone B-3 General Business. This case was filed on June 16th of 2017. The property in question is located having Silver Cross Field and its accessory parking to the north, east, and west, and then a mixed use of commercial, office, and residential to the south. All the surrounding zoning properties are Zone B-3 General Business. Applicable regulations include 47-13.2A, special uses for the B3 General Business District, 47-15A, planned unit development, and 47-9.4, yard and lot requirements in the R5 district. The Community Design Review Board met on July 7th of 2017. There were no comments made concerning this petition. Again, the requested special use permit and variations on the PUD and lot area per family will allow the petitioner to renovate the vacant building with a total of 11 new apartment units, and the floor plans are attached in your included in your packet. The first floor will include 3 retail spaces and one bedroom handicap accessible apartment unit. The second and third floors will have 5 2-bedroom apartment units. The users for the retail spaces are not known at this time, but the petitioner foresees 2 of them being a sub and coffee shop. There is an existing elevator within the building that may be restored as part of their renovation plan. And that concludes staff's report.
Thank you. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Could I have your names and addresses?
My name is Dan Shafron. My address is
Speak up, sir.
My name is Dan Shaffron. My address is 14641 Capitol Drive, Plainfield.
My name is Mel Yarmut. My address is 15822 132nd Street, Lamont.
Okay, any comments, gentlemen?
Not at this time.
What about parking? Well, is there adequate parking there for this?
Yeah, the code requirement, the request for variation is only reducing it by a parking space and a half. So, or, you know, they're going from 16.5 is the requirement. They're asking for 14. As part of the negotiation of the development agreement, the city is looking at options as far as the adjacent parking lot. That's the city-owned property to the east.
The east, yeah. How big is that lot?
I don't know if whoever, do you know?
There's approximately
Do you have
40
a-
or 50 spots in that parking lot, but we only need.
And that, what, the city's looking at that for, as a city parking lot, or what?
I think that's in the.
City's already owned, it's already owned.
Yeah, I know they already own it, but I mean, would the intended use be just for parking?
I think that's part of the negotiation between the city and the developer.
Because of the ballpark and everything else down there, you know, parking is pretty limited.
The parking we need is limited to the number of tenants we have in our apartments, and there are probably 50 spaces in the lot, and part of our negotiation with the city will be to determine how many of those spaces we can afford to use and they can afford to give up.
Would you be leasing those spaces, or?
No, I believe it would be just a use agreement. We don't know. It's going to be determined by the redevelopment agreement.
What's the intention of the city, just to provide parking for them, or what?
Yeah, may I interject? What we have, sir, is a three-story building that has been vacant for decades.
No, I realize that.
Deteriorating that, and
But I'm still concerned about the parking, and, you know, is that just an open-end agreement that the city's?
Well, that's being negotiated with our you know, senior economic development deputy city manager and slash.
Do you have it, can you give us any kind of indication what the final agreement is going to be?
I don't think it's been drafted at this point.
It has not.
So.
Will it be a leasing agreement or just allowing them access?
That remains to be determined. In the staff report, we indicate that there are 14 existing parking spaces dedicated for the apartments, and those are in that privately owned parking lot that they would have, the parking lot off of Power Alley Drive. Those are shown here on the screen. So again, there's 11 proposed apartments, 14 existing parking spaces. There is also then, once the ground floor tenants are identified, commercial,
Yeah, they'll
they
be
would
parking, you know, depending on what goes in there, you may need additional parking.
Yeah, and just like we do in other parts of the downtown, I mean, there's some street parking, and then there's the public lot, again, that's owned by the city further to the east. So we think that the parking will be adequate. That's our opinion.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions?
I have several questions. Do you own other properties?
Yes.
And in Joliet?
No.
Not in Joliet. So you have experience, could you speak into the microphone, please? Do you have experience as a are you co-owners? I mean, are you working together on this?
He is the owner of record. I'm the development manager.
I see. So you
And
have
answer your
experience as a
question-
landlord. Where are your, can you tell me where some of your other properties are?
I'm also the managing broker for Cambium Realty. I've been managing and owning property since 2009, and currently manage 15 to 20 properties for various clients.
Okay.
And I've owned 2,400 apartment units in my 41 years as a broker developer, and over 150,000 square feet of retail space.
All right. I read in your questionnaire, whatever they call this, that you had to fill out yourself, that you're planning on making these upscale apartments.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me a little bit about your marketing plan for upscale?
You know, we feel that this property is a one-off property and and of course, we still have to convince banks and appraisers that that's an accurate example of what we're doing. The third floor units are, because of 17-foot high ceilings, are going to have lofts so that the loft unit owners will have a full-on view of the ballpark from the second floor loft area. The upgrades will be granite countertops, stainless steel appliances. We're going to make each of the units smart homes so that people can control most of the building systems with their smartphone. That includes access to the units, heating and air conditioning controls, turning on and off the lights. all the things that we can do to make this upgraded so that we can get what we want to do is we want to elevate the entire downtown, and this property is the best one to do it with because of the cachet of the baseball stadium. And now with the team changing to AstroTurf and planning on doing concerts and soccer matches, we may be talking about 150 to 180 days a year that there's something going on at that facility, and our people would be really a part of it. They would have access to the stadium per an agreement we're reaching with the team itself. We have some common elements. There's a walkway that's attached to the building that will have to be negotiated with the team as to, it'll be a mutual use agreement. But we're in an unusual position, and we want to take advantage of it by doing something that is a step or two above what's been done before.
So where do you plan to market this? How do you plan to do that?
Well, we've got 3 units that are that were pre-leased because we're walking and talking to people. The groundskeeper and a couple of his staff people have already requested 2 of the units. That's all conversational at this point. We can't sign any agreements. But you know, we do it the same way everybody else rents stuff out. You use a lot of shoe leather. You go from place to place. There are obviously some online available sites, but my experience has been I tell everybody what we're doing and get everybody excited, and we get tenants that way.
I agree. It's an exciting prospect. I'm just concerned about what's going to happen if you can't rent them as upscale apartment. What kind of rents are you planning on charging? Do you have any clue on that?
One of the best parts.
Yeah, the least expensive will be $900 a month. The most expensive, $1,100 a month.
What is the square footage for the?
They'll be in the 1,200 square foot range for the largest ones, and the 850 for the
There'll
smallest.
be no federally funded?
No.
No Section 8?
No. The other thing is I do have letters of intent from retailers for the downstairs space, for the retail space. The location across the parking lot from a high school that's an open campus that has literally thousands of students and teachers coming back and forth every day is very appealing to them. Location, proximity to the new train station is very appealing. And what's the other thing? Oh yeah, this baseball stadium thing. It's very exciting.
Here in Joliet, we have a landlord training and tenant screening process that we require landlords to go through. You're prepared to do all that. I mean, it's the city's lease.
Yes,
I mean,
he is. Yes, and I've already been through that for Aurora, Romeoville, Carpentersville, Elgin. I just don't happen to have it recently for Joliet, but I'd be glad to go through that.
But you plan on doing that?
Absolutely, and we're going to
because I think we probably have a few different things from those towns that
exactly. And yeah, I'd be using the crime fee addendum. That would be part of the Joliet lease agreement. That would be included on all these leases.
Well, there's a lot of activity going on downtown. The old Louis Hotel is changing hands to a new owner. The same guy's developing the Barber building into units and apartments. And you guys doing this, you probably, it's going to be a lot of units available that are supposed to be upscale. I wish you well on.
Thanks.
I don't know, it's sort of a gamble. Any other questions by the board? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Opposed? Come forward.
Comments to make on this.
Yeah, come on forward if you're opposed. I have to swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
Can I have your names and addresses?
Richard Fisher, 122 East Jefferson Street, Joliet, Illinois.
Which is right across the street, or?
Right.
Fred Schramm, 142 East Jefferson, Joliet,
Okay.
Jefferson Street.
Any comments, sir?
Our concern is the parking situation, because right now, even with that building being vacant, we don't even have enough parking, like during business hours between the tenants and the construction with the train, everything being closed off. The entire left side of Jefferson in front of the baseball stadium is handicapped during the season, so over half that parking is gone. The city lot is now housing the construction equipment. So with the addition of this, like, it's going to put a huge strain. Right now, I have customers that can't even come into my business because there is no parking.
Do you have any off-street parking
Just what's on Jefferson Street that isn't
residential.
yeah, that's not dedicated to handicap, because the entire other site is, other than the easement that they gave for the train pickup and unloading right there in front of the entry to the ball stadium.
So what, your only parking then is on the street?
Is on the street currently. I mean, the lots at the end, generally, when there's a game going on, those aren't even accessible to a regular customer who's not going to the baseball stadium. And then when the trains come in and they drop off, that street is lined up and down with people just waiting for either people to get off the Metra, people to get off the
Oh, that's a
Amtrak.
temporary situation down there, because
Yeah,
that'll
it's-
eventually go to the new depot.
Right, but, you know, that's a few years away.
Yeah, with any luck. Any other questions by the board? Any comments? Is that it, gentlemen?
My turn?
Yeah.
Hello, Council. My problem is that I welcome this building with open arms, and especially the coffee shop right across the street from my house. But the parking is ridiculous. I am willing to take down the handicap parking stickers and put them up when there is a game, and when there isn't a game, let us have the parking.
Well, no one can deny you parking on the street regardless. I mean, that's a public street, you can park.
There's 27 residents on that street, not counting who's going to be there, you know. And we already lost 3 storefronts because of parking. You know, Sandry's is one of them. And then the little grocery store and the other clothing store went out of business and everything like that. But, you know.
Isn't there an empty lot in there too on your side of the street?
We hard hearing it.
Is there an empty lot? Is there an empty lot there next door to you, or?
Right across the street,
No, on the same side.
that's a school parking lot.
Way down at the corner, that's a school
Down at
parking
the
lot,
corner?
but further up between the apartment buildings there on,
Yeah, you talking about the one that's right next to the train station, the new train station?
going, yeah, it would be east of your building, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the school parking lot.
That's a school parking lot. We're not allowed to park there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was owned.
And the one across the street is also school parking lot, half of it. And then the city parking lot is for the baseball players only.
What are
we
your
have-
hours of operation?
Pardon me?
What are your hours of operation?
When we're open.
How is operation?
Yeah.
Oh, we're open at 8 o'clock till 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, so, are you
I've
allowed?
been in
to-
that location.
Are you allowed to use the school parking after school hours, or?
Yeah, after 4 o'clock, I think we are. Unless there's a game, then we're not.
Okay.
Because they rent the parking of the school parking lot to the baseball fans.
Okay. Any other questions by the board? Thank you for your comment. Anything else you'd like to say?
Like I said, I've been there 38 years in that location, Ed, and I have 4 buildings on that block and 2 lots.
Yeah, I realize that you.
And I've never hurting as bad as I am right now for parking.
But that could be partly because of the construction, correct? I mean, hopefully that will be taken care of.
They put storage for equipment, heavy equipment in there, you know. And it would have been just as good to put it in Lyons Lumber and leave the $38 a month they were getting for each spot to the city. You know? Just give us some parking. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? Would you like to rebut that, sir?
Yes, I would. First of all, parking is always an issue. We're looking at a 12 to 14 month building period for that building. The building is completely gutted at this point and needs everything. Our contractors have asked if they can park inside the structure, which has a drive-in ramp, so at the end of the night they can close the doors and keep all their tools intact. So the contractors we're going to have in there are not going to increase the parking problem, and hopefully in 14 months when we're through with the course of our construction, some of the pressure will be eliminated from the construction that's ongoing that's causing these gentlemen's grief.
Okay. Chair closes petition to the floor and asks the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Ms. Darling?
Aye.
Mr. Ferguson?
Aye.
Mr. Graham?
Aye.
Ms. Powers?
I'm just really I'm concerned about the parking. I'm also concerned about what might happen with this property if you can't attract 11 upscale tenants to go there, and what your recourse will be then. So I'm going to vote no on this one. Thank you.
Mr. Riggs?
Aye.
Mr. Thompson?
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy?
I share some of the concerns that members stated. Is there anything that, the city can do to help these people with the parking? I mean, especially on that empty lot that we've got there. Does he have access to use that?
That's what's being negotiated right now, and I've not been personally involved in that discussion, but I can say that this is a special use permit that will go to the city council. We anticipate it would go to the first meeting in August, assuming, and this would be with us.
Those details be worked out before then?
We would hope so. We would hope so, because the idea would that we would then bring back the, ideally, we'd bring the development agreement to the same city council meeting. So hopefully that can be done quickly.
Well, I'd appreciate it if the staff could work with Mr. Schramm also and see if he could do something to help him with his parking. He has been a property owner and in business there for over 30 years. And
we can
see any additional hardship put on him.
We could meet, offline with him and see if there's a solution.
See if there's some way we can accommodate them on some of those spaces down there. Okay, I vote aye. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
What do we got here? Petition 2017-41.
We saved the best for last, I think.
Petition number 2017-41 is the University of St. Francis applicant and owner for 1550 Plainfield Road, a variation on signage to allow illumination of a wall sign at 38 feet 1 inches high in a residential zoning district located at 1550 Plainfield Road. The building at that address is the principal building on the 10-acre site within the University of St. Francis subdivision, or the St. Francis subdivision, and was the location of the former Guardian Angel home. The site also includes 4 smaller buildings that historically supported operations at the Guardian Angel home. The building in question is 3 stories in height and comprised of brick. The existing zoning is R-2 single-family residential. Case was filed on June 16, 2017. Surrounding zoning, land use, and character is commercial B3 to the north, commercial and institutional B-3 and R-2 to the south, and to the east, undeveloped R-4. To the west is commercial B-3. Applicable regulations are section 4717.21 signs and subsection 47-19.8 findings of fact supporting a variation. The Community Design Review Board met at its monthly meeting of July 6, 2017. There were no comments made. The applicant requests the variation on maximum allowed height for an illuminated wall sign from 25 feet to 38 feet 1 inches. The applicant, University of St. Francis, recently acquired the building for a new campus known as the St. Clair campus. The property is currently zoned R-2 residential, which does not allow signs of this height or illumination. The purpose of the proposed signage is to identify the building as an educational institution. The applicant proposes a 2-foot 10-inch high by 55-foot 7-inch long set of internally illuminated channel letters. Those are included in your packet. On the building's north-facing wall. The proposed sign will be centrally located on this 88-foot long wall. The sign will be located between the 2nd and 3rd stories of the building, with the lettering starting at 35 feet 2 inches in height and finishing at 38 feet 1 inches in height. The proposed sign square footage will be 157 square feet, and that concludes staff's report.
Did you come for backup, Kendall, or I see you closed the doors. Are you expecting mob action here or something? I must swear you in. Do you swear the evidence you're about to present is the truth under penalty of law?
Yes.
My first question would be, are you here as a former councilman, as head of the planning department, or as a humble, just a plebeian citizen?
No, yes. My name's Don Fisher. I live at 1019 Cary Lane. I'm the manager of building and grounds at the University of St. Francis, and the staff report was very, very detailed. Very, very nice job. What we'd like to do, this is our new nursing school, and the university bought this campus, the Guardian Angel Home, about 3 years ago. It's 17 acres. It's about a 60,000 square foot building. We did a $10 million renovation of the historic property, and everything's going great, but we have one problem. No one knows it's the University of St. Francis because how it's tucked up on the hill and set back so far from Theodore and Larkin Avenue. So we talked to our sign contractors, and Express Signs from Shorewood came up with this rendering, and it's channel letters, and it does have to be up about the 38 foot, 35 foot in order for you to see it on the street level. Because if you notice, the grade it's probably about a 30 foot up in the air. So when you look up, you wouldn't be able to see any signage if it was any lower. So we're looking at it to let people know this is our nursing school, and it's the University of St. Francis, and look forward to working with you as we did in the past on the redevelopment of the property. So.
Well, after seeing you in these chambers again, Mike, I want you to know how much we really appreciate your being here.
Oh, Mike, I used to do 10-minute meetings. I don't know. I don't know about that. Anyway, I was thinking, this is off the subject, but it was 30 years ago this year. I was a young planning director, and I had my first meeting right there.
Oh,
wow.
Right there, actually, it was Naugahyde chairs. Sitting over there, if you remember.
Yeah, and you were a lot more humble in those days.
I don't know about that.
Okay, any comments by the board? Any questions?
Don, do you think you'll want signage on other exposures of the building, like toward the
You know,
point?
we looked at the east face of the building, and we decided not to do it because the sight lines, you really don't get the effect of it. This is the best viewing for Theodore Street and for Plainfield Road for students and you know, the general public. We have a big problem again in people not knowing it's a university, or if they're going to the nursing school for business or new students, they can't find it. And we also have our property line is set back from the street, probably about 80 foot. So we can't do any like monument type signs closer to the street in order for the public, the traffic, to be able to know that's the University of St. Francis. So this was the best option for us.
Nice.
I see parking's not an issue.
We have 320 spots. They could rent a shuttle.
Rent a few there. Do you,
Work out an agreement.
do you have any plans then? You're not going to put up anything that says School of Nursing or whatever the other?
No, that was one of the options on the east face. They were looking at putting up the School of Nursing, but they decided against it.
Any other questions or comments? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor? Kendall, are you taking sides here? Anyone opposed? Well, I'm going to advise the board that any of you that have an axe to grind with our former planning director, now is the time, it's a golden opportunity to get your revenge.
Just remember those short meetings.
I'm closing petition to the floor. Please be quiet now. And asking the board for discussion and a motion.
Motion to approve.
Oh, my.
I'll say it at once.
Motion to approve.
Second.
As a former USF nursing student, I should get the first motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the petition. Call the roll.
Mr. Ferguson.
Aye.
Mr. Graham.
Aye.
Ms. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Riggs.
Aye.
Mr. Thompson.
Aye.
Ms. Darley.
Aye.
Mr. Hennessy.
Well, I spent over how many years with you?
Oh, 1987 till 2009.
My God. I'm going to vote aye, just to make sure you keep your job with St. Francis without coming back.
Stay away from here, right?
This is a safeguard. Vote aye. Okay.
Thank you.
And one other thing I just want to add for the record, that the point of information, the Historic Preservation Commission awarded St. Francis with this particular building. The 2017 Annual Preservation Award went to this building for their adaptive reuse. And if you haven't had a chance to walk through it, it's a pretty amazing facility that they have there. They even have Starbucks inside there.
Oh, wow.
Motion would be in order to
Wait,
approve.
I have one I'm sorry, I just have one question. Based on that case about the daycare center, I'm wondering, I appreciate the packets that we're getting now with all the information. I really appreciate that. But I'm wondering is if it would have helped me today if we would have had minutes, if it had been, you know what I'm saying, it was a previous petition, if we would have had the minutes from that meeting to say, so I remembered what exactly conditions we put on. That would help if that.
We'll make a note of that and
happen.
certainly.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes of the last meeting, so signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Okay, put it on. Thank
And I'm
you.
going to have a campaign party.
Fundraiser, Ed, a
You didn't
fundraiser.
see these, did you?